7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audience.
It's showtime.
Ivan, you're muted. You muted.
Jesus, I'm always muted. See, that's how you know you took a long break. What is showtime, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to Circle Debate Podcast, episode 156. We took a long hiatus, but we needed that break. We needed that break. We needed to take a wild break and rest, and of course, especially myself. But of course, we're back in action. Summertime here in California and summertime in New York, of course, ladies and gentlemen. The host TV is going to have to see what mother, compadre, mi hermano, the man and only, he's Mr. DeLorean himself. Man, I'm glad to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike De Niro, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on there?
What up, what up, what up? So glad to be back here on my fucking favorite show, Circle Debate, with my homie, my brother, Ivan. Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Oh, that's right. We got to play some
LOG, right?
We got to get some OG on it right here. That's right. That's right. We got to play it.
Niggas acting tough in the hood till the wolves come.
Now,
Bitches let it drink in the club till the wolves come. Surrounded by the sheep in the street till the wolves come. Everyone strip on the floor. We the wolves done.
Who could fuck with De Niro? I got a Snyder extendo clip, so who wanna play hero? Go mad shit like Ozzy, I was born in the darkness. Oh, you the wolf, so we pull up and you're harmless. So pray to Allah, the Don Dada, the top shotter, the top spot, final boss you cross, that's when your ride stop.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. Lord to Gotham, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure.
Check it out.
Check it out because they're doing fantastic. But man, the TOM, what's going on? My brother right there, the DOM from TRWT. Oh man, yeah, let's go, baby. Thanks so much, Don. Appreciate you tuning in.
Appreciate you, man.
Before we begin the show, do not forget to follow us and subscribe here on Circle Debate on our YouTube. You can also see us here on Twitch. And also do not forget, check out, of course, Mr. DeLorean himself, Mike De Niro, on iHeartRadio. Right there, make sure that you subscribe to iHeart, subscribe to the rest of DeLorean. There you catch him 3 times a week, sometimes 2 times a week, maybe even more. But I mean, De Niro will break it down for you. Let the people know how many times they catch you every week on iHeartRadio and the time. Let the people know where they.
The show is released first thing in the morning, right? So when you go to work, when you're on your way to work, when you're on your way to school, even no matter what it is you're heading to, your show is there waiting for you when you wake up. We have shows right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on iHeartRadio and on all audio platforms. But it looks like we're going to have to take that shit back to 5 days because the audience been strong, the download's been strong, and iHeart said you're not doing enough to capitalize on this audience. So 5 days a week is coming very, very soon for the Wrestling DeLorean podcast. You know what I mean? I did the 5 days. I stemmed away from the 5 days. I think next time I do 5 days, it's going to be permanent. So definitely excited for that.
That's right, because not only this the Wrestling DeLorean, but also COD, we got a lot of shit. We got a lot of things for you guys.
I got the shakes that'll make you quake. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes. I got the burgers that'll... I just got burgers.
We got burgers, baby.
We got burgers. That is absolutely right. Let's get into the action, ladies and gentlemen. I know we took 2 weeks. Well, we got a little bit more than 2 weeks, but we took that top opportunity for us to, of course, to get ourselves back. And I'm glad that we're finally back. I hope you guys saw that MMA show last night. It was happening today. The UFC 290. Do not forget. The recap will happen next Wednesday. But yes, we're here to talk for some WWE. Again, everybody had the opportunity to talk about it. We're not going to break down everything in detail, every matches. We're just going to go through it overall because we do have a couple thoughts that I want to bring up on of course, the winners of the Money in the Bank, which we'll talk about that. But man, I can tell you one thing that Money in the Bank was actually incredible. I actually enjoyed it. It was not a bad PLE, how to say, premium live event, as I would say. But I really enjoyed it. Scary moment for Logan Paul though with that flip with Ricochet. He got lucky. Good for him. Thank God he didn't break his neck. None of that. Even though he has scars, scratches in his back. But man, it was a great event. The shocker of all time, which I will save for last for when the director joined us about Ronda Rousey. But man, did not expect that from Shayna Baszler turning her back on Ronda Rousey. But we already heard Uncle Seltzer and everybody else giving their rumors in their windows. I'm not going to say they're facts. Who knows? But we'll save that for last for when the director joins us. And just seeing John Cena the return, of course, WrestleMania possibly happening in London or in Australia. We saw that. And, of course, we did see the Civil War, the Bloodline, going at it with each other. And it's crazy how they brought up that Roman Reigns has not been pinned since 2019. And he got pinned by Jey Uso, which we already saw was coming up. We'll get into Raw and SmackDown about that. And the return, of course, of 3, 2, 1. That's right. Drew McIntyre making his return, confronting Gunther. Rollins retaining, of course, because of Damian Priest costing the match of Finn Balor. And, man, it was actually not a bad event, but give us your breakdown, De Niro. What were your thoughts of overall? And then, like I said, we'll get into the winners of the women's and men's Money in the Bank, and if that was the right decision, but we'll save for that. But give us your, recap overall of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, PLE, excuse me.
I overall thought it was a really good show. I love when WWE does these international PLEs because the fan base is always crazy. That crowd was going absolutely fucking ballistic the whole night, and I love it because we've seen that with the Puerto Rican crowd. We've seen that with even the Saudi crowd. The UK crowd always is one of the most lively crowds because they don't get the live events from these American-based promotions so often, right? So that's why you see All In is doing like 75,000 tickets sold. That's why you see people coming to this show for WWE and having an amazing time because you don't get these American-based companies on a daily basis doing live shows there. So it's special when they go. That crowd was as big a part of the show as any of the wrestlers are because they made it such an amazing atmosphere for the whole night. Overall, the show was great. Men's Money in the Bank was an awesome matchup. Like you said, scary spot with Logan Paul. Definitely, glad that he's okay. Like what they're doing with him and Ricochet. I like that feud's going to continue because if they have a matchup at SummerSlam, it's going to be insane. I can only imagine the spots that these two could pull out together. But was really happy with the winner. I thought Damian Priest winning it was really good. I think people were sleeping on Damian Priest. But, everyone was like, oh, LA Knight. People thought Logan Paul, when he got added in, was going to win it. People wanted to see someone else at the top. And I think that the last year or so, we've seen Damian Priest slowly become a main eventer. The matchup he had with Bad Bunny, amazing. The matchup he had with Seth Rollins for the World Championship a couple weeks ago on Raw, amazing. Even if you want to go back to, I think, late last year, he main evented Raw in Canada against Edge, which was an amazing matchup and really showed that he could hang with a Hall of Famer in the main event of Raw. So I think that it's time to give him that next push. So I thought that was a really good decision for him to become the Money in the Bank. And then on the female side for the Money in the Bank, I think that Io Sky is well due for a big push. And I think that it's going to be awesome if, we see her and Asuka. But really, really cool to see her win the Money in the Bank. I know a lot of people were complaining, oh, we don't want to see Becky do it again. We don't want to see Trish. Blah, blah, blah. To have Io win was awesome. I totally agree with that. The world title matchup with Seth Rollins was good. I don't want to see the Judgment Day break up, but I like the dissension there with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Cool to see Drew McIntyre back. But I think that really the big story coming out of this was Roman Reigns getting pinned by Jey Uso. That was such a crazy, crazy atmosphere, an amazing matchup. And for Roman Reigns to take the pinfall for the first time in over 3 years, it was a huge moment. And I thought that it really solidified main event Jey Uso as the next guy up. So I really, really am excited for what's to come with that.
Absolutely. I love that. And shout out to Brian Cook. What's going on, Brian, man? Appreciate you,
Brian?
brother. And let's see what you got to say in the chat. The UK crowd was fire. The for Rollins will give you the goosebumps. Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. I'm not gonna deny that.
Yeah.
And then Money Bank was awesome. June was heaven for free. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Forbidden Door was awesome. Money in the Bank. So overall, professional wrestling. We're not gonna say which one was better. No. We love pro wrestling. It was a big June for us, and it was my birthday too as well. So it was I got at least 2 great events that I enjoyed. What's going on, J-Man? That's right.
What
Just
up, bro?
time, baby. That's what's going on. What's going on, my brother?
My homie.
Yeah. But absolutely, you didn't know that right on point. But yeah, listen, I want to talk about the winners of the Money in the Banks, which, a lot of people were really under the impression it was going to be Logan because of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, of course, because of the whole situation. And especially with in Denver, right now that is being on hold because of the fact a lot of changes are happening. That's why UFC and everybody else are delaying a lot of things. But we're gonna get into when we talk to Ronda and the director about that. But I know you mentioned you made a valid point about Damian Priest. We saw how he did last year, and he well deserved this. I know a lot of fans wanted LA Knight. If you notice how Brian mentioned, the crowd was going crazy for LA Knight. He was like up there, like Jesus, like he was a face. And mind you, that his merchandise is in 3rd place right now in WWE over, I guess you could say, Stone Cold, and I think it's John Cena, I believe so. I'm not sure who's the other top 2.
I think it was Roman.
Oh, Roman, you're right.
Yeah.
Roman. And Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So, of course, they asked Papa H in the press conference, so what was the decision? Why was not LA Knight decided the winner? Of course, he said it's not, in due time, be patient, and I was just happy that it wasn't Logan Paul, because I was like, no. Because if we knew it was going to be Logan Paul, man, we already knew it was Vince's idea. And I hope Endeavor is really paying attention of what the hell Vince is doing. There's certain things that he's probably doing okay. But there's a majority of things that Papa H has done tremendously ever since he took over. We've seen it. How was it? What was it? The not the castle. How did he do that on his own? Perfect. He's done everything fantastic, and all the storylines. Right now, WWE is getting up there once again. And I wouldn't say because of the Bloodline storyline. I think overall now we're seeing talents that we've been dying to see more, to get their TV time and feuds. Like LA Knight, we finally get to see LA Knight finally. That's what I'm happy about. But I want to, you mentioned Damian Priest. So you stick with that being confirming that within yourself that was the right decision for him to win it, or would you have LA Knight to win it? So break it down. Give us your thoughts of the winner, of course. You already did, but I want to get more details from you. Break it down, and this is the right move.
I was going for Butch, actually. No, I'm joking. I do think that LA Knight was the right choice. I mean, not LA Knight. Damian Priest was the right choice because, like I said, we've seen LA Knight in other promotions in the main event holding a world title, like Impact Wrestling. We've seen him in NWA, but I feel like if anybody right now is ready to become a world champion right now out of that batch of wrestlers in that matchup, it's Damian Priest. Damian Priest is a guy who was in the main events. Damian Priest is a guy who's been stepping up to the table every single time and knocking it out the fucking ballpark every time he's in the main event of a show or in a big matchup on a show. So I feel like, you got to reward that. The fans are behind LA Knight, and it's organic, which is awesome because you want those wrestlers where they could organically get over. And LA Knight got that. But I don't think LA Knight necessarily needed Money in the Bank right now to continue to be pushed as a top guy. Right now, I think if you're comparing LA Knight to Damian Priest, just for how they've been booked on the shows as of the last year or so, Damian Priest earned this spot. It was Edge, if you remember, it was Edge who wanted Damian Priest in Judgment Day to begin with because he was going to be sitting under the learning table of Edge because Edge saw something in Damian Priest. Damian Priest stepped up to the table. This guy is a main eventer. And I think that if he becomes world champion down the line, I could see him having a really good storyline, a really good title reign, and have good feuds. He's a big guy. He has the size. He could talk. He has a very ominous voice. I love his voice. Always reminded me of Loki. Him and Loki are like the same. Close your eyes and you can't tell them apart. But definitely, I think Damian Priest is a perfect fit for Mr. Money in the Bank, especially for what we saw later in the night with Finn Balor going for the world title and Damian Priest showing, like, you know, giving a little dissension there.
Absolutely. And good call. Hey, valid point. I forgot about it. I forgot low key. He does sound like
Yo, close your eyes and hear them both talk, and you're like, who the fuck is that? Is that Keith?
You know what? I'm gonna go just for that. I'm literally gonna go back YouTube with Underground just to see, like, and even just see the low key's moments too, like with everywhere.
Yeah.
Even MOW. Oh my god. Hey, I didn't thought about it. I'm like, oh shit, he's actually right. They do sound like alike. It is a good valid point, brother. It's valid. I don't, with Damian, you nailed everything on point. The only thing I can add on to that, how many years has they been dying ever since Del Rio left to El Patron? They couldn't find no one like a Mysterio. Like, I mean, I'm talking about the Latin community. They couldn't find nobody that could really elevate to Mysterio's level of what he's done throughout his career. And this guy could be the guy. You know how you mentioned he is, and the way how he speaks bilingual. This guy could do it. And even though it doesn't matter, he's Puerto Rican. That's not the point. The point is that you need something like a face, like a heel, especially like him, that can relate with the Latin community, especially. They couldn't do it with Del Rio, unfortunately. That they tried both ways, heel and face, didn't work out, and now could be the opportunity.
They've been trying for years too. It didn't work with Sin Cara. It didn't work with Andrade. It didn't work with a bunch of them stuff. Oh,
totally, and I'm with you 100% there, brother. So you're with that, and this is what I'm gonna say. There it is in a row. People worry too much about now. They don't remember what it's already been booked and don't realize the show gets booked twice a week for 52 weeks. Tranquilo. There you go.
Yeah.
And happy belated birthday, Brian. I know you was on the first. Hey, happy little birthday, Brian. Yes, man. Much love to you, brother. But yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, even Dom was saying, everything's on point. What you're saying. I have not, and believe me, I wasn't upset that LA Knight didn't win. This is just the beginning, how you mentioned, for him. For LA Knight, if I were him, if I were Papa H, push this man to become the U.S. champion. Make him go. He doesn't have to be like a heel or a face. I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be that. He could be controversial. He could just be like, I would say, like the character Steve Austin. Like the beginning of the time, if you remember, when he was becoming Stone Cold, he wasn't on any or face or heel side. He was just beating the shit out of anybody. And I could do the same by him just attacking heels and faces and be on his own. That's fine. He could do that. And I don't think it's the right time for LA Knight to win it. And I'm glad they didn't, because they would have dropped the ball. And I hate to say this, but if they would have done it to him, he would have been like a Baron Corbin. What happened to him when he won the Money in the Bank? That's would have been my fear. And I hope it doesn't happen to Damian Priest of that. And I'm knocking on wood that does not happen to Damian Priest on that. I hope everything what you mentioned goes on point for him. I am with you on that 100%. I'm glad Logan Paul didn't win. I'm guaranteed that Papa H was like, nope, you're not winning. Nope. I don't care what Vince says. I don't give a damn. No. So I'm pretty sure. And let's see what Justin got to say on the chat. Sadly, I have a feeling that Priest is going to be one of the small list people who haven't successfully cashed in. The story of Judgment Day, Judge Field is going to lead them there. I mean, we don't know yet, J-Man. We just have to wait and see. We'll see how. And
also, something also to add is, if you remember last year, the Money in the Bank winner was Austin Theory, and Austin Theory proved that you don't have to go for the World Championship. He went for Seth Rollins as U.S. champion, and he's still U.S. champion from winning it from Seth Rollins, right? So maybe we see Damian Priest not go after the world champion, even though I'm sure he will. But what if we see Damian Priest go after Gunther, or Damian Priest go after, the U.S. champion, Austin Theory? But I think that would be another great matchup, Priest versus Gunther. But I think that what's being built is Damian Priest and Seth Rollins down the line. So,
oh yeah. Definitely. I see that. And, we'll get into Raw and SmackDown briefly. But just on the women's one, I know you mentioned it already. Mentioned earlier about Io Sky, Io Shirai, but it is what it is. But I'm with you on her winning. I was okay with it, and then she deserves it. I think it was about damn time. This woman paid her dues. You go back to Stardom, you go back to Tokyo. Everything what she's done it there. She has the credentials. This woman, oh my God, deserves it. We've been dying to see her and Asuka one-on-one. We've never gotten that. Mind you, it's always tag teams. We never gotten a one-on-one. And I don't know if it was Vince's spear. I don't know. I'm assuming it had to be Vince. Knowing you, Vince.
We make movies.
Damn it. We got to make professional wrestling here, damn it. Especially with these two Japanese women that can do fantastic work. So you got to give us
what I want. Give me what.
That's right. You have to give us what we want. And Popovich is delivering because we might see for sure Io Sky and Asuka, most likely. We don't know. But I'm happy with the decision. I'm happy for Zoe Stark getting her opportunity, at least to be in an event like this. Even though, and man, that little flip that she took from Vega, wow. But I'm happy for her that she's not getting that. I've been a big fan of Zoe, been following her since, in the Indies days. And shout out to Sim Bodie that we had him here on the show. He was actually, Zoe was part of his facility and Future Stars Wrestling in Vegas. So, man, I was just really happy. But do you want to see it? Do you, like you mentioned earlier, but you confirm yourself, you want Io Sky, Asuka more than Io Sky going after Rhea Ripley? We've seen Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in NXT back in the days. But what's your preferable choice for Io Sky to go for?
100% Io Sky versus Asuka. I think that's the big money match. And I wouldn't wait. Too long. Like, I think that could be a main event for SummerSlam, even though it doesn't look like we're going that way. But SummerSlam for the women's title, Asuka versus Io, that would be insane.
Oh, man. Hell yeah. Definitely. I'm with you. And Brian, the difference between is I don't see LA Knight as vicious as Steve Austin, though. Remember when he shattered Brian? Yes. I do remember that, Brian. I do. And she will always be Io Shirai to me. Just look like an older folks. Ali will always be. That's right, Cassius Clay in the series. Yeah, man, I'm so happy. Absolutely, so happy for her. I am definitely happy for her. Very brief. We're gonna get into Raw and SmackDown just very quick. We got a lot to cover here. We got a lot of it. But man, of course, we saw. We're seeing McIntyre, Gunther. We saw the Money in the Bank. People are really like, what? Why is that feud happening? Why is Drew going after that? Well, first of all, if you YouTube Drew Galloway and Walter, especially back in when it was the WCCW, I believe, or WC, I forgot what the European pro wrestling show that they had. But if you go back and just YouTube that, their matches were fantastic. We don't know if they're going to allow it here.
In the ICW, and they also wrestled in Prestige.
There you go. There you go. So, I mean, man, I wouldn't mind seeing in here in America to see this. And I know people are going to be, oh, well, it's not going to be the same. We don't know. We don't know if Papa H will fight for that. We don't know if he would or not. And, of course, we saw the whole Ronda and Shayna on Money in the Bank. We saw it on Raw. But, like I said, we're going to save that for the director comes in because there's a lot of things we have to talk about with him or Ronda Rousey. And, of course, we saw SmackDown. We saw, of course, Edge right away. Waylon Walker. I mean, Grayson Waller. Like, wow, very, very, very quick. AJ, Killer Cross, Charlotte, of course, the Usos. And we're seeing the Civil War, man. So, I mean, you break it down to me, the Neuro thoughts of Raw and SmackDown. And are you still invested in this Bloodline Civil War?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to work my way backwards, right? So I'll talk about SmackDown first. I wish I was there. It was in Madison Square Garden, my neck of the woods, only like 25 minutes from me. But I thought that crowd was awesome as well. The New York crowd is always awesome. But I am very invested in the Bloodline Civil War. I think that, they keep on making it fresh. They keep on keeping it. They always throw in something that is such a high detailed moment. Like, that's what I love about this. They pay attention to the details, right? So there's always something that keeps it fresh. Always something that makes it must watch. So yeah, as you're having the big brawl between the Usos and Solo and Roman, you got Solo who picked up the necklace and looked at it like, You know, do I want this? Do I want to be the tribal chief? Like, am I about to hand this off to Roman or am I going to take it? Like, stuff like that, it shows another layer, and it's going to be like, all right, after the Usos go off and do their own thing, we're probably going to see Roman versus Solo, which I love. Action on the night was really good. I like the matchup with Edge. You know, that was a surprise to see Edge wrestle. Thought it was cool to see him versus Grayson Waller. AJ Styles and Karrion Kross was okay. I know Kross is a friend of the show, so I'm not going to, you know, talk too much shit. But right now, WWE really needs to fucking, you know, give Kross a push, because I feel like they have him lost in the shuffle, and every time you see him in a feud, he's losing. So that guy is $1 million talent, and I don't know why they can't get it right. But
I'm with you on that.
And then on the women's side, you know, it looks like we're probably going to be getting Bianca, Charlotte, and Asuka, right? But that's going to be awesome. I think that all three of those women in a three-way would be insane. And then to Raw, you know, you have Drew McIntyre. He wants to be the IC title champion. You saw Drew McIntyre got a shot at it at WrestleMania, but there was also a Sheamus in the matchup. I believe Sheamus is the one who got pinned. So Drew McIntyre still, you know, got a claim for that title. And if anybody could take it off of Gunther after this legendary reign, it could be Drew, which is going to be crazy because that matchup is going to be an absolute banger. And I like the whole, you know, dissension in the Judgment Day. But something that I thought was cool was we're continuing the feud of Brock Lesnar and Cody. And I know a lot of people are upset about Brock Lesnar and Cody, but we all knew that they're probably going to have one more matchup going into SummerSlam. And Cody got the upper hand again. So, you know, I called it a couple weeks ago. I'm going to call it here. I want to see Brock and Cody in a Texas Bull Rope match.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? That would be awesome. But overall, I think WWE's in a good place. Two really good shows coming after a really good PLE. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. That he did. I can't wait. I mean, WWE's getting there, man. They're picking up the pace, and I'm hoping that Papa H is continuing to do it. I know Vince is there. We know he makes some changes. We already heard it, rumor in your windows. Remember, we're just giving our opinions. We're not Seltzer. We're not none of those piece of shit Brian Alvarez. No, we're just giving our opinions. But other than that, I mean, let's hope that the way how this is going is mainly Papa H, not Vincent Kennedy McMahon, because we really want him out of the picture. Because everything Papa H has been doing has been great. He's giving a lot of the talents opportunity to get up there. That's what we need to see. But man, definitely. All right. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, next Saturday, coming to you, of course, on Fight TV and DAZN for all the international folks. Impact Slammiversary happened to you July 15th, and that is going to be the card right there. Let me just remove this so we can see, I can see it. So we have Frank Kazarian versus Eddie Edwards, Joe Durian versus Kenny King for the Digital Media Championship. We have the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, which is the Coven, which is Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich versus the Coven, which was this Kylie King, and I forgot who's the other girl's name. And yeah, we were behind on it. It's been a while for Impact. And of course, the Ultimate X match we have, which is Jonathan Gresham, of course, Speedball Mike Bailey, and of course, what's his name now?
You got Kevin Knight.
That's right.
You have Alan Angels.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a dope match.
Yes. And then you have the Exhibition Championship, which you have Leo Rush versus Chris Sabin, which Leo Rush made his return last week to Impact, helping Nick Aldis, of course. Of course, you have the Impact World Tag Team Champions on the line. Of course, ABC versus Sammy and Rich Swann. And Jesus, I can't even forget the other guys' names, I forgot.
Yeah, you got Moose and Brian Myers in there.
There you go.
And then the last team you got, I can't even see that.
I know. That's what I'm trying to see too, because I'm trying to look for a bigger picture, but they didn't give me a damn bigger picture. Jesus Christ.
Is that Mark Andrews in there?
I believe it is, yes. You're absolutely right. That is
Mandrews.
Yes.
Remember he used to go by Mandrews?
Mandrews.
Horrible name, bro.
Horrible name.
Mandrews.
And then you have the Knockouts Women's Championship on the line. Deonna Purrazzo versus Trinity, which I'm looking forward to seeing that match. And of course, you do have the Impact World Championship on the line. Alex Shelley defending it against Nick Aldo, the national treasure of professional wrestling. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. That should be interesting. That's next Saturday. Do not forget, July 15th. And shout out to Scott D'Amore. He just had like a little quick mini wrestling match. I just saw like the highlight of it a couple of days ago.
In his Team Canada gear.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But man, give us a take, brother. Like, give me your thoughts of Slammiversary. Are you excited? Are you excited for Trinity and Deonna? I think that's the one I'm really looking forward and seeing Sabin and Lio Rush again. But break it down, brother. Give us your thoughts of Slammiversary.
Nah, the show looks stacked, and Slammiversary is one of their big shows of the year. It's one of their tentpole shows, so I think that it's going to be awesome. It's crazy, 21 years of Impact Wrestling, 21 years, and this card is big. You got someone who's been there, you got a couple guys who's been there since the early days, the early TNA days, like Sabin, Shelley, Kazarian. Who else? You have a lot of guys who, grew with this company. So it's really cool to see them not only in matches, but in big matches. Really cool to see the Ultimate X, because that's a matchup that TNA originated and they bring back for these big events. So really, really awesome. I think that the matchup I'm looking forward to the most is probably the world title match between Alex Shelley and Nick Aldis. I have a suspicion that Nick Aldis is probably going to win, but I think it'll be a nice surprise if Alex Shelley continues as the Impact Wrestling World Champion. And yeah, I always been a fan of the Ultimate X match. That's one of my favorite match concepts of all time. So I'm really looking forward to the Ultimate X. I think that it's time we see, some of these guys start to break out, though. Like, I would like to see if Mike Bailey starts to break out of the X division, starts going to the heavyweight division and start, getting a run with other talents, because we've seen guys like Jonathan Gresham and Mike Bailey for the last 2 years hanging around the X division. I would like to see them mix it up with guys like Nick Aldis and guys like, Eddie Edwards, and just to give them that fresh push. And as for the Knockouts World Championship, I think that that's a matchup that's, the big money matchup. Wouldn't be surprised if that main event's the show.
Oh, man.
One of the best women's wrestler. Yeah, you got one of the best women's wrestlers right now in Deonna Purrazzo, and you have one of the biggest free agent signings in Impact Wrestling for the last, maybe year or so, when they got Trinity. So that's a huge money matchup. I would probably put that last. I would give that the main event spot.
Oh, yeah. I would too, to be honest, because I think Trinity deserves to be in that main event. What is the last time we saw her main event, actually a pay-per-view? I don't think ever.
Never did. Yeah.
I never did. And we've seen her SmackDown, her main event. We've seen that. But we've never seen her main event an actual pay-per-view. Her and Deonna, I feel like, is going to be the night of the show, night of the night, fight of the night. I think that's going to be a great match. I just can't, like I said, all due respect to, Motor City Machine Guns, I just didn't expect them to win that belt like that immediately. Did not expect either to Macklin to drop the belt that quickly. I understand, I guess, why they're doing it. Maybe this could be their way out from Impact. Maybe they're retiring. We don't know what was going to happen with their career here. But it's good to see Lio Rush now back on it. Happy to see him back. And I'm looking forward to see how this is going to happen. And but other than that, I'm just excited. I'm stoked. And speaking of stoked, I'm stoked because this man is here.
Oh, man. It is so early. Holy
what
shit.
Up, bro?
Hey,
el director.
¿Cómo está, bichas? Mi hermanos.
Sí, el director.
I don't know who you are, but you fucking with me. That you carry the trash, but you pray on your knees. Cause you know see the grass and the blood in the teeth. I do not compete.
Sorry, I gotta do it.
Hold on. No, you're good. I'm sending you something else. I don't know how to put it in the OBS.
Oh, okay.
So he got updated.
He got updated now. So
I got updated. Yeah, but I don't know how to drop a GIF in the I sent it in the chat. I couldn't put it in the OBS. I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, it's fine. Shout out to Faction Cast. What's going on, my brother?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then Brian was a damn good wedding. You have a wedding that day too, Brian? Yeah, you got to watch it later.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, so Slammiversary, I'm looking excited. It's excited. Oh, there's the God of Rock and Roll. There you go. You're the God of Rock and Roll. There you go.
Fucking the God of waking up on a Saturday at 11 a.m. America time.
America!
Fuck yeah! What up? Yeah, good to be back, dude. Stoked to talk about Dynamite. It was a good episode, in my opinion. I was fully entertained.
But before we do get into on the Dynamite, we saved one for you because we want to get your thoughts.
Right.
God of Rock right here. We got to talk about this, and that is, of course, Ronda Rousey.
Right.
Just to break it down, the fact is that what's going on is basically.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm very aware.
So you're aware.
Yeah.
So now the biggest question for you, director, is: do we see her going back to UFC? Because Dana White mentioned a lot of shit.
No.
So what do you see?
I mean, maybe. I
Break
mean,
it down.
Amanda Nunes is the only. I mean, come on. So her only two let's go. I'm ready. Her only two losses in MMA were obviously to Rousey and Holly Holm. Nunes and Holly Holm. And her record is great. And you can't judge her. You can't say like, oh, but she was fighting, women who weren't. No, those were great fighters she was fighting at the time. It's not her fault that if you think her lesser competition are the reason for her wins, she was fighting the top at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the evolution came. Nunes was the future. We saw what happened. Nunes is now retired, so that belt is now vacated. 2 belts are vacated, but Ronda's not going up to 145. Holly's kind of in the winter of her career. We'll see. She's kind of always going to be top 5, but never top 2, I think, in my opinion. So does Ronda come back to UFC? I don't know. Is this what she's planning to do? I don't know. Does she have a successful career in the UFC if she does come back? I would like to think so, but I'd have to look at the rankings. I mean, she'd obviously come in at the top of the fucking division for sure. She would definitely get a large pay. She was a record holding pay-per-view draw. So they would definitely book her as a main event. But does she get a title shot right away? It depends. I think so. And then the second half of that is her leaving WWE. Her second run hasn't been as spectacular as her rookie year, which is the best in the history of the game ever. But now she is giving the rub to Shayna. Does Shayna deserve it? Yeah, sure, of course. Shayna's, I think, not a bad wrestler. I think she's almost worse on the mic than Ronda. And I don't know if the people are going to – I mean, I know they're chanting thank you, Shayna, to Shayna, but is that because they love Shayna or hate Ronda? So can you build a character off of this? Can you build the next superstar off of this? Maybe, but I don't know if it's Shayna.
Good point.
But they're going to try.
That's a good point. See, this is why we got to say. That's why I say this best for last, because I wanted to get your take on.
All right, that was like a 5 minute. Dude, I rant when I wake up. I am so sorry.
It's okay. But De Niro, do you agree with the director, or do you have different thoughts?
Not yet. I totally agree. I think that it's really good to see Shayna get pushed on Ronda's way out, and I just hope, like, my one hope is if they do have a matchup, if they're going to have a matchup before Ronda leaves, put them in the fight pit. Put them in the fight pit. Have them kill each other, and then Ronda could go off. She could go back to UFC. Shayna Baszler becomes a much bigger star. That's what I would like to see.
They got to bring back the
Lions Den.
Lions Den with Owen Hart and Ken Shamrock. That should have stayed around. I don't like the fight pit. I don't like that they put that. What was the Shane McMahon bullshit that they had, and then they
they had an NXT.
It's on NXT now, right? Yeah.
No,
that should have been dead with fucking Retribution stuff. But definitely bring back the Lions Den. The Lions Den was awesome. I love that match because at the time I was a UFC fan back then in '98 when that happened. So yeah, that was fucking spectacular to see.
Oh man, but yeah, that's valid point, man. I can't add anything, but that really made me think, though, director. Good. Yeah. That's why I had to save Ronda for you, because I'm like, okay, I want to.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm unabashedly a Ronda fan. I don't care. I understand that her losses sucked and that she got exposed for some holes that we all kind of knew she had, and she dealt with them the way she had to deal with them. If I was embarrassed in front of the world like that, I wouldn't even say embarrassed because she got in there and did the damn thing. But her reactions to those losses were, people didn't approve of them. But it's not up to us to judge how she deals with getting head kicked in front of billions of people.
Yeah, that's very, very true. A good call on that, my brother. But you know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen? Is that time? It is time.
It's time! It's time! It's Vader time!
Yeah.
Dynamite!
Dynamite. What the hell is going on with this program? Jesus Christ. Look at
What'd
this.
you do?
Dynamite. Nothing. Program is there. Dynamite that happened 72 hours ago. Yeah, because we're not 96 hours because we're not.
Yeah. We're still pretty fresh.
We're still pretty. As you can tell, we're early. We're early birds. Some of us, not all of us.
Yeah, I just went to bed.
It's 1 o'clock here, so I'm chilling.
I looked at it. It was like, it's 1 o'clock over here. I'm
Well,
okay.
2 o'clock now.
2 o'clock. He's okay. But man, Dynamite just happened this past Wednesday, of course. A lot of things that it was actually a great Dynamite. I wouldn't say it was the best or anything, but I would say it was what stories are developing heading into Blood and Guts. And then, of course, we still got All In coming up, but that's far away from now. That's very long from now. But
yeah, it's actually next month.
Is it? Oh, yes, right. August. That's
It's
August
a week before All Out.
That's
So
right.
it's in August, yeah.
Absolutely. There you go. Thank you. See, that's just how you know I'm behind. But man, we got the tag team eliminator matchup. That, of course, this tag teams. I'll get into the tag team things. I just want to get everybody's thoughts on the opening matchup. It's always Orange opening the show, and I actually like it. And he does a great job. But Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy versus Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I do miss them as a tag team, but we never got the one-on-one feud at all ever since the breakup. We did not. That's where I'm like, Tony Khan, what the hell are you doing? Because you are not allowing these guys to do their feud.
That's fucking bullshit.
Tony Khan, you're not doing it. You gotta do it, damn it. You gotta let these guys have their feuds, not teaming them up and then what the fuck is that? But either way, but it was a good matchup. I enjoyed the tag team matchup. Good spots that Keith Lee does look like he could be a heel for me in this. Honestly, his character, this matchup, this tag match, he can fit as a heel. I'm gonna get wrong. I love you as a heel, face Lee, but that wizard shit, I'm glad that shit's gone. That's what I'm happy. I just wanted to say that. Just get out of the way. But I am happy that it's gone. But man, this is a great matchup. I enjoyed it. It was great. Of course, the winner, of course, you have Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. Darby getting the pin on Swerve. Of course, Swerve always hitting Keith Lee throughout the match. But I enjoyed it. It was actually not a bad. It was a great opening. Very much enjoyable. And this Eliminator tag match, I'll ask you guys 2 questions. This is, of course, the opening. And now you guys are invested on this, mystery Eliminator tag team tournament, tag team partners. So start it off with you, De Niro. You break it down, and what are your thoughts of this Eliminator mystery tag tournament?
Give me 1 second. I need to get ready.
Uh-oh.
This hat. This is the hat that I need.
So we gotta get Chris a hat.
I
get your name.
definitely. I mean, maybe a T-shirt, bro. I am not a hat guy.
Yeah, me neither.
The matchup was fun. I like that Keith Lee had more attitude in this matchup. Like you said, he ditched the cape. He ditched the weird gray hair that came out of nowhere. So
yeah, it came out of the day after his wedding. We know that.
Yeah, right. So I'm glad that we were starting to see the old limitless Keith Lee. Like you said, kind of weird that we didn't get a feud yet between Swerve and Keith after the breakup. But this was a really good matchup. I like the promo beforehand too with Darby Allin trying to, bring out that inner monster in Keith Lee and tell him to step it up. But good matchup. I liked it. And it was a good opener. As for the second question, I'm only invested in this whole tournament just because of what we saw later on in the night with MJF and Adam Cole. I think that they're going to be, very entertaining. The fact that they're forced to team up, they were feuding, then they're forced to team up. And now, it looks like there's signs that they might actually become friends. I think that they could have that same energy that we've seen with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho back in 2015, 16, whenever they were doing.
You know what? You just made the list.
I had been around here before. But anyway, so yeah, I think that because of them, I think that the whole tournament could be entertaining, but I don't really like the whole idea of just throwing 2 random guys together and supposedly it's a random draw, yet you see former partners coming together and you see guys who are feuding with each other coming together. But nonetheless, we'll talk about the MJF and Adam Cole stuff when we get to it, but That's the only reason why I'm invested in this tournament.
I like that. Director.
Yeah. This match confused me, I guess. I don't know, because like in the beginning, like Darby was talking to Keith Lee and he was like giving him a pep talk. So then the whole match, I'm trying to figure out who the fuck the teams are. I guess I don't know what happened. I was just like, wait, is it Darby? Is it 3-on-1? Is it 3-on-2? Who's team 2? And then I just kind of accepted it was like some weird. I thought at some point it was like some weird round robin thing where like, what is it? Remember that? Okay, this is kind of old school. And DeLorean, no offense to Ivan, you might remember this. Do you know the outlaw rule?
That sounds familiar. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. But breaking
down.
Okay,
so there was a match like obviously 5 years ago. It was 4 tag teams, and anybody could tag anybody. And New Age Outlaws were involved in this match. And so when someone tagged Billy in against Road Dogg, Billy just laid down and they got the pin, and then the match was over. And your own teammate could pin you. So there was a rule called the outlaw rule where that could not happen. I thought this was like one of those situations where it was like anybody could tag anybody. For me, was not clear that the lines were drawn down the middle. And now it makes sense in retrospect. I didn't even know that Swerve and Keith Lee were tagging each other this whole match. I just was like, oh, okay. Now you're telling me that. I'm like, oh, I guess that makes sense. So that's my bad. But for, I guess, not paying attention or them not drawing those lines clear enough for me.
They haven't really fully explained why this tournament's even happening or that it's actually happening. So
is it for, like, I know that there's the thing with the draw and you tag with somebody. I understand that that's happening. I didn't know this was part of that, I guess. I thought this might have been like 2 sets of tag teams tag each other out, and then the winners face each other to face Orange Cassidy. I thought it was some crazy shit like that. That being beside the point, the match itself was very entertaining. I had a lot of fun watching this. Pun intended, there are limitless possibilities with Keith Lee and anybody who weighs less to him, which is everybody in the roster. The spot where Keith Lee had Orange Cassidy on his shoulders and walked up the ramp, and the ramp was on top of Darby Allin. What the fuck? That was wild. You can't fake that at all. Yeah, good match. JoJo, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, good match, good opener. Orange Cassidy is obviously the king of the first hour, and I love that. Is the winner is this a tournament?
Yeah, the winning team.
Bracket, and then the winners get the tag champs, and I'm not even sure who the tag champs are right now. Is it the Acclaimed or FTR?
FTR.
Okay, and they're only defending on Collision?
For now, yeah.
Okay. So, that's AEW's bad. I pay attention. I'm a fanboy. I get lost. It's too loose-ended right now. A lot of threads,
Yeah.
But besides that, entertaining match, absolutely. None of these guys ever put on a bad match. I love Swerve. Swerve's the next Atlantic champion. Make it happen. Let's go.
Man, yeah, I'm with you too. Like I said, I'm just not this tag in tournament. It's I get it. It's entertainment in a way because you're just teaming up with blind partners. Hey, like how Matt Hardy.
At the core, it's entertaining, but do I care? Like, I'm not excited to see who gets to the finals, and I don't think they're winning, unless it is MJF and Adam Cole, and that would be wild. But that's part of a storyline I'll talk about when we get to that segment.
Oh yeah, definitely. But the one I want to give a shout out to is on this next segment because I have to give a shout out to him because he's of course from the West Coast, and of course he's making his debut next week on Dynamite, and that is of course Nick Wayne, who we saw at PCW Ultra a while back. I saw him, and now he's we've seen his day. He's making his debut next week. We saw the little video clip that which was a emotional one, of course, because Darby came from Defy up here in Portland, Oregon, on the West Coast. So that's right. And then Buddy Wayne, rest in peace, because he just recently passed away. But man,
was that recently, or was this a while ago? And then this has been in the works.
Yeah, no, this is. I guess this has.
It's been in the works. Nick Wayne's been signed to AEW since he was 16 years old.
A year or two, right? Yeah.
They just been waiting until I think the one contingency in his contract was he had to finish high school first.
Yeah.
Man, when I was in high school, would have fucking killed for an opportunity to be signed by AEW while you're in high school. Like, damn.
I'm not a good example. I was ditching school. I was pro wrestling. As soon as I decided as soon as I figured out I could do whatever I wanted to, I was not a good student. Short story long, I would ditch school, stay home, and play No Mercy all day long.
But other than that, I'm happy for Nick Wayne to make his debut. Shout out to him. I'm excited now that he graduated. Now he's official because he couldn't go because of course under the state law, because he has to have a certain age for him to in order for him to be on television, professional wrestling. So now he graduated. Now he's there. So now he makes his debut against Swerve next week. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen,
I keep rubbing my eyes, man. I just woke up, so that's all.
It's okay. It's okay. But mind you, that Swerve and Nick Wayne have fought each other before. Go to Defy and you can watch it. Yeah, and man,
Wayne very well, so I'm gonna go find that match.
Oh yeah, it's on Defy. You can find that, and you can actually find it on YouTube as well. These two men really fucking killed it, and the crowd went insane to see. And for Swerve to open, to give him like, hey, welcome to AEW, welcome to television on Dynamite, and you're facing Swerve Strickland. That's gonna be a fucking hell of a match, and I'm excited for Nick Wayne. Congratulations, Nick, once again for being with AEW, making your debut next week, and I'm excited. I'm really, really excited for this kid, and he's going to do a fantastic job. I'm looking forward. De Niro, are you excited for Nick Wayne, and what are you looking forward for his future in AEW?
I'm really excited for Nick Wayne. I see Nick Wayne live when GCW ran the Hammerstein Ballroom, I think last year I forgot what the show was called, but Nick Wayne was in the opening matchup. It was a ladder match. He killed it. Nick Wayne's been killing it for a while on the indies. Nick Wayne was one of the highlights in the Ric Flair's last match event when he went against Takeshita. That was another really good matchup that he had. So he's been killing it on the indies. As the only thing that's been, the long wait was his age, and the contract said that he had to finish high school. So now to have him on a national platform like AEW, I think that he's going to do really well. He's got a lot of talent, and for a kid who's 18 years old to have as much talent as he has, I think that sky's the limit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Director, give us your thoughts of Nick Wayne.
I mean, I'm excited to see new talent. There's some, I don't want to say hype behind him. There's a lot of praise behind him. Smart having him fight against a guy who he has in-ring experience against. They know each other well, so he's going to have a lot of familiarity fighting Swerve. I think Swerve's going to win this, but I don't think it's going to be a loss for Nick Wayne. A loss in the ring it could be a crowd win, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to do that. And like I said, for his career, for Nick Wayne's career, there, I would now that they got rid of what they got rid of Dark and Elevation, they got rid of both, right? So this could be an opportunity for them to see maybe they could push him. Let's say in Collision, because by the way the Collision looks, it looks like they're really pushing, I guess, the upcoming stars. Or maybe they could put him in Ring of Honor. Maybe they could put him there to try him out. Who knows? There's a lot of things that they could do. But I see him. Biggest question: do you see him associate himself with Darby Allin to become let's say a team, instead of let's say Orange and. Right? I mean,
that's a very realistic thing to do.
Yeah, I can see Darby playing more of a mentor role for him, like Sting does to him. Have those generations.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Is he gonna put the face paint on and look like I like Toodles, guy. Jonathan, I love that video. Go look it up for the kids at home.
I like Toodles.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because I'm like, what's he talking about? But not okay. Yeah, that's for sure.
I like Toodles. That's all Darby Allin.
I like Toodles.
Just like Darby Allin.
That's Darby Allin. I mean, I don't think anyone denies that.
Just for that, I need to get that video just to have it. Poor Darby, he's gonna fucking hate.
Dude, it's so good. I'll watch it every day of my life.
Do you remember when the Gun Club brought that up to Darby when they were feuding with Darby and Sting?
Yeah.
Oh man, but I'm stoked for Nick Wayne and I'm excited for him. And let's see what happens, man. I hope everybody gets invested. If you don't know who Nick Wayne is, Google him. You can YouTube it. Just look up for his matches, especially in Defy. This kid has done fantastic. He's paid his dues, and I think it's about time. And I'm looking forward to what he could bring on national television now. So that's what I'm excited for. Speaking of excitement, I was excited for these guys that what the fuck they were doing in AEW.
Yeah,
Bollywood
me off guard.
Boys. It caught me off guard, and I did not type it right. See, this is what happens. Jesus Christ. So let me just go ahead and type it again, because this is what happens when you take a break off, ladies and gentlemen. When you take a break off, this is what happens. But man, but yes, the good claim, Daddy Ass versus Blade, the Blade, and Bollywood Boys. Good to see Bollywood Boys back. It was awesome to see them. And obviously, fantastic to see. I got to see him the first couple months. Y'all know AEW, they hype up a signing and then it's gone after 2 or 3 months. Let's hope not for him.
Give me an example of this. Someone give me an example of this.
Faction, give director an example of who.
They hype him up. We go back to that real quick. They hype up a signing, and then said signing is gone after 2 to 3 months. Gone out of the company or buried? Or
I would say buried. I would say buried.
So yeah, I would love to know who they've done this to off the top of my head, because like maybe Big Bill, but they didn't really hype him up, and he kind of showed up anyways. And
I think the biggest one's probably Miro.
Sorry, say again.
The biggest one has to be Miro. Miro was hyped coming in, a big signing, and then he just disappeared because
he got injured.
No, but for like the last 4 or 5 months, he wasn't injured. He was cleared, and they just had nothing for him.
I guess maybe Aleister Black too, but also that's a he has a well-being issues that I can't judge. Maybe Miro, I get that, and I don't like. I mean, maybe Miro, that might be it. Due to non-injury. Yeah, so maybe Miro, like DeLorean said, but that's one guy ever. So no worries. Stokely Hathaway is still around. Is this who you think has been a huge signing and then got put away?
Well, Stokely's now playing a major role in Ring of Honor, so he just got moved over.
Yeah, Stokely's fucking.
Oh, that's right.
He's way bigger than he was in NXT or whatever he was doing.
He's a GM now, right? That's where he is now. He's a GM. Oh, that's right. You're absolutely right.
I don't think the Jay Lethal thing counts, even though it does in its own way. But that wasn't like a huge. They didn't hype up the signing. They just debuted him before Raw got to him.
Yeah,
yeah, but matches. Well, at least Jay Lethal has Jeff Jarrett, so that's a good thing.
Jay White.
Oh, Jay White. Jay White.
Jay White is the white guy. I gotta remember that.
See, look, he even Faction just mentioned right now. Like he just posted in the chat.
Miro, Lethal, Malachi. So Malachi is maybe Lethal. They didn't really hype him, but then he's still around, and they made him a tag champ at some point, didn't they, or some shit? The Keith Lee thing, maybe. Yeah. Keith Lee was also injured, right? He still had that weird Corona thing going on with his heart. Lance Archer was around for a long fucking time, and then he went to Japan. Big Bill wasn't really hyped before he showed up, and he's still around. Cesaro is definitely, literally Ring of Honor World Champion, so I don't know what that means. Sorry, Clark Street, I have to agree. Swerve is huge right now. Juice Robinson is blowing up right now with the Gun Club. None of these. You're actually telling me successful hires. These are the opposites of your points.
This is a debate, damn it! Debate with the director.
Swerve and Juice are on TV.
I want to sit back with popcorn and watch this.
I know. That's what I'm looking at.
You guys are
keep the names going, Chris. Keep going.
These guys got hyped up and they were off TV for a couple months, but they're back and they're top of the divisions and on TV. I don't even remember them being gone for too long. Juice, I don't know. Maybe he had a long honeymoon. God knows,
Juice has been in the main event of the last 3 collisions.
Yeah. Juice is Forbidden Dooring it up. Swerve we're literally just talking about him right now. They got hyped up. I don't know if they were hyped though. It wasn't Juice Robinson's coming to AEW. Oh my God, the future of the division is going to change. That's to me what would be a hype.
What's funny about this whole thing is when I saw the video for Nick Wayne, I was like, wow, this is something that AEW doesn't usually do. So that's the first time I saw someone as getting hyped up as a new signee before they came to the promotion. Usually it's a surprise, right?
Yeah, AEW doesn't do a whole lot of Jericho coming soon.
Yeah, exactly. So
they don't do that a lot.
I guess everyone has a lot of examples of something that I never noticed, but yeah. I do know that AEW has a problem with signing guys and then not having them on TV for a while. We've seen that with Andrade. We've seen that with Malachi, the whole House of Black. We've seen it with Miro, but like never has AEW really like hyped these guys up before they were on TV. They were just brought on as like surprises, you know? So
Right,
this is like
yeah.
the first time where they give you like a vignette or really hype somebody up before you see them on TV.
And by the question that was brought up by Faction, they were not hyped before they were signed. That is why none of these guys qualify for me. And they didn't really disappear right. A lot of them didn't disappear right away. Yeah, I mean, none of these got vignettes. None of these got like coming soons, and none of them are really written off TV right away. Lance Archer was like almost a pillar as far as like the first year of AEW. Like him and Jake the Snake were fucking top of the show for a long time. So yeah, the everybody dies gimmick was amazing for probably a full 18 months.
This is that's for you, Chris. He's
My definition of hype is hype. Building somebody up before they debut, giving them a timeline before they debut to build that character, and then dropping the ball when that character debuts. That is a Vince thing for sure. 100%. If you're talking about Killer Cross, Retribution, the return of Emelina, you know, shit like that for sure. But just debuting out of nowhere or putting up a poster on Instagram that says Jay White is all elite the day he shows up, to me, that's not hyping them up before they debut.
Yeah, let's see where they were. I guess Tony Khan has. Whoa! Wait a minute. This is a debate center right here. Jesus, hey.
Damn, yo, Chris is going. Chris is turned heel on our fans.
What
fans have turned on Chris. God damn.
I don't remember there being vignettes before debuts.
There never was, and that was our biggest complaint about AEW. They don't hype people up. They don't hype anything up.
I will complain about that. I've complained about that a ton, is that they don't build up a character before they debut. The Jay White thing, like I said, he showed up out of nowhere. Cesaro, I think, you know, the rumor mill knew he was coming, but he wasn't built up with vignettes. And I said almost a pillar. I would have said maybe a pillar. I didn't say he was, but he was definitely top of the hour of the second hour for a year for sure. I didn't say he was a pillar.
In the pandemic era,
I said almost.
In the start of the pandemic era, Lance really looked like he was going to be a future world champion. And
yeah, he was doing the Drew McIntyre thing for the whatever the fuck that empty dome was called.
Jeez, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, see, I'm even forgetting. It's been that long, but I get it. But man,
Reds was in the heavyweight title picture for a long time, for damn sure, for sure.
Right. But man, good to see Bollywood Boys in the Blade.
That's the facts.
I know we derailed it, but I was really very brief for me. I was just happy to see Bollywood Boys. The Acclaim still got it, man. Everything what they were saying, they still fucking got it. But bam.
Isn't he like an IWGP like champion or something, or did he just lose it?
Right now he is in New Japan. He's doing more shows with New Japan Strong. So
so this guy only watched one show. Okay, so this guy's a casual. He had no idea he had no idea Lance was in Japan, like holding titles in big matches. That's cool. I understand. There's a lot of content out there. You can't get to all of it, but that answers that question.
Faction, we gotta have you on the show, have you debate with Chris.
I love educating people. Some people need to know, and they don't have to Google it. They just come to us for their information, and I appreciate that.
We appreciate Faction, but always.
Yeah.
But this is a man. Jesus, Bollywood Boys. Oh man,
and then he quotes MJF because that's the only show he watches.
It's a hyped up indeed. Oh no, that Faction. You and I will have to debate. That we have to debate, but we'll debate that later. But I don't want to derail too much. Just go ahead and break it down for this matchup, brother. Jesus, it's been fun.
I'm more interested in the matchup with Chris and Faction Cast. I mean,
he knows I love him or her or they them. I have no idea.
I mean, this matchup was cool. Like, surprised to see the Bollywood Boys on TV. I thought that was awesome. You know,
they didn't get hyped. They did not get a hype package. I didn't know they were showing up until like Excalibur said it. I was like, what? Yeah. And then I was like, the same? There can't be two sets of Bollywood Boys. There's only one. And why is it just the Blade? Why is the Butcher in a separate match on the same night? That to me didn't make sense. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it could have just been the Acclaim versus the Bollywood Boys. I don't know why you had to put the Blade randomly with them because that looked like, you know, a weird matchup here. This was not a part of the whole tag team match tournament, whatever the fuck they're calling it, right? So I don't know why you needed to have what's his name, the Blade, a part of the Bollywood Boys, but good matchup, cool to see them. And the Acclaimed is still highly over, even though it looked like the Acclaimed almost lost the crowd with the rap, because when they mentioned the Canadian Wildfires,
that was
not babyface like.
That was definitely like, just, I mean, are people dying or getting injured from this thing? That would be really.
The Canadian Wildfires has been insane.
I know. You can see it. If DeLorean went outside right now, he could see them.
Pretty much.
Like, you showed me that photo. You took a picture or a video of your skyline of the island, and you can see it. But I mean, it's a national emergency for sure. Like, it's not gravy up there.
So it wasn't the most babyface like thing to do to go in there and rap about it, but
yeah, I agree with that. I'm with you, that Dinero, but go ahead, continue.
He almost lost the crowd, but nonetheless, it was a cool match, I guess.
Yeah, it was all right. It didn't move anybody anywhere. It just debuted the Dollywood Boys.
Those are your thoughts, director? Any other?
I like that Billy Gunn said "suck it" to Cameron.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
whatever her name is.
Yes,
she's very XPW. If you get the reference, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Veronica Kane.
Maybe because of the blind reveal tournament. Yeah, no, I think that it's exactly faction because of that. That's why they've been mixing a lot of these tag teams because of the whole tournament.
But this matchup was not a part of that.
Wasn't a part of it.
Well, remember his partner was part of that tournament. That's why.
Oh, that doesn't mean that you have to throw the Blade in a random 6-man.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I mean, who else we would have thrown? That's the biggest question.
You didn't have to put Daddy Ass in the match. It could have been the Acclaim versus the Bollywood Boys.
Good point. I mean, I think that could have been. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm talking about three-way, but I mean, no, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So does that mean the Bollywood Boys are a part of whatever faction the Blade is a part of?
This was a one-time thing for them. I mean, they were
Blade's
like
I don't think they're signed. We'll probably never see them again on AEW.
No, I don't think so. But they are the five tag team champions. I'll tell you that. So here in the West Coast, and of course, so they are the five. The one topic that I've been dying to talk about because this man predicted it. The Nostradamus, the professional, right to the bottom right here. The last time we were on, this man called Jungle Boy. He's gonna turn heel. He's gonna go heel as hell. But we did not expect him to look like this man, like the Stat 70 shows right below, right next to the director, if you can see. But did not expect that. But now we finally got it. We heard already, the segment he gave. Oh, I have a, great. I'm not gonna say it, but he said it. Because Anna Jay was okay with it, which
that was a brutal line that you definitely have to get cleared.
Yeah, he got it cleared,
probably, from the Queen Slayer for sure.
But man, I mean, I'm Nostradamus. Go ahead. You predicted this. What are your thoughts? And are you happy that
I like Hook and the Jungle Boy, the heel thing? It comes off as it's a little trite, it's a little forced, it's a little try hard. It's kind of like when Christian first turned on him, you were like, okay, he's just saying all the things to exactly become a heel. I'm entertained by it, I guess, but that's probably because Hook's involved. So it's like now Jungle Boy is now an edgelord, which is kind of how you have to do that now because everyone else is out edging you. MJF did it, and now so Christian had to outdo him, and now Jungle Boy has to outdo him. So now it just becomes a matter of like, what's Jungle Boy going to say next to top the heat he got last week while we wait for this keg to explode when Hook finally gets a hold of him. I'm entertained by it, and I that's pretty much how I feel about it. I can't wait to see how the match itself. That's pretty much it.
Dinero, are you excited for this heel turn of Jungle Boy Jack Perry, his new look and his persona with Hook, and would this actually benefit Hook too? That's the question.
I mean, I am, but I feel like they have to stop calling him Jungle Boy. It doesn't fit. So, just call him Jack Perry now. I don't know what you want to call him. 90210 Jack Perry?
Yeah.
and don't call him Jungle Boy.
Blackjack.
Yeah, right. Because that doesn't fit the new persona. You know what I mean? You don't see fucking Tarzan saying he's, banging bitches, but whatever. I feel like it could work. I mean, he definitely needed something different. So him and Hook are going to be a good matchup. And I feel like, you got two young wrestlers who could use a big push. So why not? I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, I'm. Me too. I mean, director called it. That's why I'm like, okay, I want to see how this is going to go far with him. Should he join the faction? I don't know. A bit too soon.
No
more factions. No more factions.
The all factions, all lead factions.
We're all tired of these damn factions. No, Hook will be off to be 3 to 4 months, just like another AEW. I love faction. He likes it to pay for sure. We gotta have faction one day on the show. But man, I get your point, faction, but we have to wait to see how this is going. This is a start. It benefits both. For me, I think it benefits both. It hypes up Hook, even though Hook doesn't speak, but he just attacks. Good. But it hypes up more for Jack Perry because we get to see a heelish mode. We get to see more of the heelish of him. And, how De Niro mentioned that does not fit him. Change the noise. Just go to Jack Perry. Jack Perry 902.0. That's it. Play a theme song behind you right there. That's it.
Because I can play that song on guitar, so I'm not going to.
I know you can. But, I mean, we'll see. Another segment that I am invested and intrigued and to see where this is going to go with is Don Callis, of course, and the Coyote, the Tom Brady of professional wrestling here, Jericho, the Coyote. I don't care what anybody said. He is a Tom Brady of professional wrestling, the Coyote. I mean, good crowd, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Of course, shout out to Canada, of course. But and then it just they booed the shit. Nah, they didn't even allow Don Callis to speak too much on this, but Jesus, I really enjoyed this. It was a good segment. Do we see the breakup of JAS? Yes! I mean, not that jazz, but the jazz. You know what I mean? But is the breakup over between Jazz and is Jericho going to join the Don Callis family? That's the biggest question here. And De Niro, I'm going to start it off with you. What are your thoughts of this segment? Where do you see Jazz going with this? Do you like this combo? Do we see Don Callis, Kenny Omega again 2.0, but this time with Chris Jericho? And I don't know. I'm curious to hear you out, brother. Break it down.
My opinion is no. None of this is going to happen. I feel like Chris Jericho was showing he was giving a real babyface style promo. I think that he's teasing that he may join Don Callis, but I think that we'll see, Chris Jericho turn babyface on this, go against Don Callis's family. And to be honest, I don't break up the JAS either. I think that the JAS is also organically getting over, and you make the JAS babyface as well. I think Daniel Garcia is highly over with the crowd, especially since he's been doing that little dance shit, right? I think that 2.0 has always been a team that the crowd likes to, they put on good matches. I feel like there's times where on the mic, the crowd really gets behind them because of their personality. Sammy Guevara is definitely winning fans over. And ever since, his babyface tweener turn when he was going against MJF leading up to Double or Nothing. So I think that, it wouldn't be a bad thing to possibly turn the JAS babyface, having feud with Don Callis' family. Because I'll say this right now, I hope that we get the end of Don Callis and the Blackpool versus the Elite come Blood and Guts. I hope that that's it. Finito. Finish that shit. Because too often do we see Blood and Guts, and then that's like a feud, like in the middle of the feud. That should be a feud ender. So hopefully after this, to catch the Don Callis, maybe a few more members could go against the JAS, and that's it.
I like that. Good call. The director, break it down, brother.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Jericho's joining Don Callis, but then also you have to question the longevity of Jazz, which may have run its course because they're not really doing anything new right now. And you haven't really seen like Anna Jay coming out with them. Tay Mello is technically not really in Jazz, but hangs out with them a lot. Daddy Magic and Matt Menard are doing other stuff. That might be the same person. That might be the same person.
Yeah, it's
and
Angela Parker.
Obviously, we're waiting. People, the fans want to cheer Daniel Garcia, and they will, whether they're supposed to or not. And then Sammy, I think, obviously is ready to explode as a face. They just have to put him over the edge. But I think the retribution from his whatever reason people don't like him, which I think obviously stems back from the Eddie Kingston issue. I think that's over. I think people are kind of like they forgot about. They don't really care about that anymore, which is why they genuinely hated him to begin with. Jake Hager definitely jobbed out to Wardlow a couple weeks ago, and I agree with you that like former WWE World Champion isn't really being utilized right now. So I definitely agree with that.
He was also another guy who was not hyped up on TV. He just appeared, but
right, yeah. So no pre-hype. Daniel Garcia's best member of Jazz besides Jericho. I'd say him and Sammy are pretty close. Completely different styles of wrestling though. So I would say Daniel Garcia is definitely a better technician, and Sammy definitely is a better flyer. I think they're equal in both of those skill sets for sure. Daniel Garcia doesn't really get mic time. Sammy gets card time, which is technically mic time. So yeah, completely different styles of personality. Jericho going with Callis, maybe. Jazz breaking up, probably. The thing with Blood and Guts is there's variables. I don't know where Takeshita lies. He's definitely on the team with Blackpool in this, I think. And then you have the Eddie Kingston Moxley situation, which sounds like Moxley is trying to turn Kingston back to being his friend, which means he would have to come to the dark side. But I don't see him joining Blackpool because the criteria to be in Blackpool is you have to be a great wrestler, and Kingston is a solid brawler with great mic skills. I wouldn't consider him qualified to be the skill set that Blackpool would be looking for. So maybe Mox is out of Blackpool, Takeshita's in, Don stays. That might be the move. And then you have Takeshita versus Jericho with face check. That would be great. Rainmaker versus Takeshita would be a great match. A lot of variables, but I think they're starting to move pieces around and disintegrate factions, and good because all factions elite still exists.
That's right. For me, I don't know where this is going with this. I don't see Jazz.
It's a lot of fucking moving pieces. Like you move one piece and everything else kind of shifts.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too, because I don't know exactly what direction is going with this. I don't know if this is direction which we'll get into the main event for the Blood and Guts. Maybe so. I don't know exactly what's the details of it. Right now that Bryan Danielson is out because of the broken arm from Forbidden Door. So this is kind of like, okay, you have Wheeler, you have Moxley, you have Claudio. So it's really 5 people, right?
5 on 5, yeah. So you got Mox, Claudio, Wheeler, Takeshita, and then you need one more. I think I know who it's going to be, but
we're going to get to that. But I'm thinking about it could be this man, the last member. Who knows? We don't know yet. Maybe so, but this could be the case. I'll tell you what. I'll say it right now, but I won't say until we get to the main event. But I'll say this is Plan B. I can tell you that. That I can tell you. This will be Plan B. If Plan A doesn't go correctly, the deal doesn't happen. This is Plan B, which is it makes sense why this segment happened. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna get to that. But man, this got it to get on it. Another tag team eliminator, blind tournament. We had Adam Cole, baby, and of course MJF. Which I don't want to mention this segment, but good segments they've been having though. I saw the last 2. They're hilarious. Oh, that no offense, like I was fat too. All right, so letting you guys know, people are listening and watching. I was fat too. Okay. Them saying about, oh, look like Tony Schiavone, and they just want to start laughing. That's hilarious. All these guys. It's a good segment. We've seen it before with MJF. This match was great. Seen him against Daddy Magic. Oh, you know what? Get my nipples hard, baby. What's this match? Just got me hard. But the Butcher, Butcher looks in great shape. Shout out to Butcher, getting great shape. Good matchup. Enjoyed it. Then the birthday, of course, we did it to the birthday.
Go listen to Every Time I Die. Rest in peace, that band. Go listen to that band. Buffalo Hardcore. Like, just go listen to Every Time I Die. If you don't, you're wrong. Guy doesn't get enough credit.
Really enjoyed this. It was a good matchup. It was a good tag team matchup. Of course, the winner, of course, is MJF. Cole. We got the celebration after with the birthday and Smash Cake. So we're getting that direction. How they don't mention about this feud between these two. So, but yeah, take it away. What are your thoughts of this tag team matchup and the aftermath of it.
The matchup was okay. I think the aftermath is what was like the best part about this. I think that Cole and MJF are really showing chemistry with each other, which I didn't see on the first time that they were on the mic against each other. They had that great, 30-minute time limit matchup?
Yeah.
Great 30-minute time limit match, and then all of a sudden they're teamed up with each other. And I got to say, like, I'm liking it. Like, they have chemistry with each other. Like I said earlier in the show, I could see, like, the same chemistry that Kevin Owens had with Chris Jericho. I could see that with MJF and Adam Cole. So I think if it organically gets over, then just keep on rolling with it.
Definitely. Director.
Yeah, I am entertained by the MJF Adam Cole thing. It's funny. It's it's absolutely pure good. To me, it's good TV. It's good dynamics. It's the underlying storyline that Adam Cole is going to get his rematch, but no one's talking about it. And MJF, I think, is doing his like. I think it's one of those like keep your enemies close but pretend he's your friend type of things. I think we're all waiting for the other shoe to drop. Obviously, I don't think Adam Cole is going to truly believe that he's now besties with MJF, or the moment he does believe it, that's when the devil reveals himself. That's definitely the storyline I'm picking up. And I can't. I'm going to enjoy the ride until that happens for sure. Definitely. And the vignettes are funny. I like Roddy having to remind Adam Cole, like, hey, man, you still know that's MJF? He's like, no, dude, I got this. It's cool. I know. And then you see him like, fucking buddy-budding with him. Yeah, there's a lot of room for good writing. And so far, they're not letting me down with it.
Yeah, definitely. They're not letting us down. And it's like, it's because we're all heading into those directions, heading into Blood and Guts and All In and then All Out. So it builds up. I know a lot of people are not. Some are not invested of it, but I feel that that it's getting towards there, and we're gonna get to, especially with this feud between the storyline of Adam Cole and MJF. I'm glad that Adam Cole is getting that momentum and got to see that for him again, and not in a bad position or mid card level. This is not bad for him at all, and it actually benefits both of them. Benefits MJF as well because
get the clothesline. Get the clothesline.
Oh, well, I know Adam Cole wanted to clothesline these women's, but too bad he couldn't. But the Outcast. That's right. Dr. Big Breaker BMD versus Ruby Soho in the Owen Hart tournament. Quarterfinal. Fortunately, she did lose because of Outcast. The cost of that matchup, of course, they held down Ruby Soho's hand outside of the ring. The count 1, 2, 3. But a good matchup. It was like, well, one thing I wanted to I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, but the crowd was not really much invested in this matchup. Bless you. And I don't see that. They were really invested in this matchup. I don't know what happened, but and I don't know what's going on here with this Owen Hart tournament either. Like I said, I don't know what direction going with it. Too bad that Ruby Soho lost. Britt Baker lost, but now Ruby advanced. Now she'll face Sky Blue. We saw Sky Blue coming out. You'll be facing me in the semifinals. So we'll see how that occurs. But it was, it was solid. I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't bad at all. It really made Ruby Soho heel mode to go up higher, especially with the involvement of the Outcast. So I really enjoyed it. So De Niro, break it down. What are your thoughts about this?
I think that I like that they played the story with this was the main event. Well, not the main event. This was the finals of the Owen Hart tournament last year for the women, and Britt Baker won. And then this year, Ruby Soho got her revenge, beating Britt Baker. Ruby Soho was, of course, with a different, attitude, and now with backup. Where, if you remember the Owen Hart tournament last year, Britt Baker had Rebel or Reba. She had Jamie Hayter. So, we had like a full, it went full circle. Now,
where has she been? Good point. Faction hasn't brought this up yet, but yeah, as far as like off TV, where has she been?
True.
I just realized she hasn't been around since like the beginning of this entire angle.
Yeah.
Good point.
She wasn't hyped, though.
I mean, if it's an injury, cool. They didn't talk about it.
She wasn't hyped.
She wasn't hyped.
No, but yeah, I liked it. The matchup was good. The crowd was kind of quiet, but I'm glad that they picked it up for the main event.
Oh, indeed. Director.
Okay. That was fine. Did Britt Baker win it last year? Was it her and Adam Cole both won it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm cool with her losing. That's fine. Pass the torch. Here's what I want to talk about, and this is not a conspiracy. This is a fact. There are so many subliminal Seinfeld references on AEW that nobody picks up, but the diehards like me. One time, Daddy Magic came out. He had that 8-ball jacket, which is the same jacket that David Puddy from Seinfeld wore, and Excalibur said, "Oh, Daddy Magic coming out with the David Puddy jacket." I understood the reference. There was some other reference they had made at some point that only I picked up on. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was made. Tonight, or this night, there was another Seinfeld reference by the crowd. And it took me a second to understand. I'm like, there's no way they're chanting what I think they're chanting. They were chanting, "She's an anti-dentite," which is a reference to the Tim Watley episode where Jerry made the joke, "What do you call a doctor who fails med school? A dentist." And then so the whole joke on Seinfeld was that, Jerry, you're an anti-dentite. So Ruby Soho beating up a dentist, they were chanting, "She's an anti-dentite." I fucking love that. That is so wild that there's these weird Seinfeld references all over Dynamites. And that's what caught my attention about this match, which says a lot about the match. I love that Ruby was trying to go for the lockjaw. That was kind of cool, but then it got countered into like the lockjaw, and then there's a reversal, then the finish, whatever. Ruby moving forward makes sense. Britt's going to be fine on this loss. She doesn't need to win the tournament twice in a row. I have no idea who is going to win it, but yeah, that was the story for me right there. Was the Seinfeld jokes.
What's going on, Noah? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
We'll see how we'll see how it goes. I mean, with this tournament, like I said, it's just that there's too many tournaments. We have this, you have the tag team one, and you have the men's ones too. But it's just like the men. I guess you guys mentioned it's entertainment, but then it gets is an investment, not really with the tag team. Yeah, these somewhat, yeah, but there's too predictable. But this one wasn't predictable because I thought it would have been Britt to win, but didn't expect Ruby. So I guess they're going a different direction, which I see that.
Thank you, Noah. Love that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Yes, thank you so much, man. And but man, definitely. I mean, we just have to see how where they're going with this Owen Hart tournament to see, and are they're gonna save it out for All Out? I'm assuming. I mean, yeah, All Out. They're gonna save it for, which is a long time from now, though. So that's why I'm trying to understand why so quick with this tournament, and then hold the finals until that time. That's where I'm just confused of where it's Tony Khan going with this. That's where I'm at, So that's the only the thing that is I guess no. I see. Britt and Ruby made perfect sense. I like the ending of the match with Ruby getting her revenge. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I do agree with you on that. I'm with you on that. If that makes sense, which I did totally forgot about that. That was the last year's tournament they had, and their revenge as well. And I think the finals
they were the opposites last year. Britt was the heel, Ruby was the face.
So if it is going to be All In, then okay, then
that's still a long time because that's only a week before All Out. So
yeah, that is very true. You're absolutely right on that. All right, main event time. We're gonna get into it. That's right, Kenny Omega versus Yuta Wheeler, and this match was great. I really enjoyed it. Shout out to Yuta because I know he got hurt. He got hurt during the match. I don't know what spot because if I did watch the North American version, I watched the North American version.
It had 2 minutes overtime.
Yeah, and so he was outside of the ring, and the doctor was attending him. Looked like he got injured. Looked like he got hurt.
I think Ruby Soho got injured, right? He's bringing up another hype, and then left TV. Was she injured too? Her shoulder or some shit?
Yeah, her shoulder too. A broken nose. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want someone to work hurt like that.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was a good matchup. Enjoyed it. Of course, we did see the aftermath. Of course, what happened, and Dark Order's going heel again. I hope so. Don't fucking look. I'm gonna say it right. Tony Khan, don't do this bullshit. Do not do this. Do not have Dark Order join BCC. No.
I definitely is not, I think, a thing.
He better not do that shit. Or even fucking have him join the Don Callis family. No. Let Dark Order be themselves and have him recruit people to be fucking heels. I'm fine with that. Let them rebuild themselves again. Because they were doing good in Ring of Honor. It's a trio. They were faces. Now they're back on Dynamite. And now they're heading direction of their heels, excuse me. I don't mind that. I don't care. I just don't want them to join fucking BCC or Don Callis. No, they need to be by them three. Rebuild them Dark Order again. That's what I want to see. But this match was great. I really enjoyed it. Good to see Kenny Omega. The crowd went insane, of course, hometown. And, man, enjoyed it. But De Niro, break it down, brother. What were your thoughts on the main event?
I enjoyed this. Wheeler Yuta definitely stepped up. So I got a little mixed up. I almost call him Yuta Wheeler because I saw it on the bottom there like that. But Wheeler Yuta definitely stepped up, right? And I think that he could hang in the main event, but Kenny Omega, it was good to see him back, especially after taking that nasty bump at Forbidden Door against Will Ospreay. Really good matchup. Wheeler Yuta definitely, like I said, could hang, but this matchup was Kenny Omega's match to win. And yeah, I mean, we didn't get to see the aftermath with Dark Order because on my stream, as soon as Dark Order hit the ring, like the show went off the air. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're going to be joining any other group. I think Dark Order is just going to be doing their own thing, but as a heel maybe, which I'm fine with. But yeah, I mean, going into Blood and Guts, there's a lot of intrigue on who's these mystery opponents. There was a post-show promo by Kenny Omega who was alluding to the mystery opponent on the Elite side. I don't know if you want to get into that right now or do you want to wait?
Yeah, we'll wait. You know what? We'll wait. We'll wait because we got to get director's point of the main event, and then you get into that for sure.
Cool.
But go ahead, director.
Oh yeah, that little shit, Wheeler Yuta. Every time BCC loses, it's him. It's this fucking guy. Swap him out for Daniel Garcia. That was the right move a long time ago. Dude, this match was really good. I at one moment thought that Wheeler was. I was like, "There's no fucking way. They're not. This is not Action Andrade versus Jericho. They're not giving Wheeler this win." And for 0.29999 seconds, I thought they did. That was good job to the ref. Good job to everyone involved on whatever that 3 count was. I forget what that the sequence was. But it was when like Blackpool came down and it was like an interference and then finisher after finisher. I was like, oh shit, they're giving a protected loss to Kenny. Holy shit. I'm glad they didn't though. I don't think Kenny's ever really lost on a Dynamite in singles competition, at least that I can think of. Keep it that way. Yeah, good match. Dark Order coming out at the end because of the Hangman Page situation. I don't know. If you want to talk about all-time disappointments in AEW, because I'm not exactly a bootlicker, I am disappointed by a lot of the decisions. It will be Dark Order. They could have been where House of Black wants to be, is sort of. That was the original. I mean, now it's a comedy gimmick. It's you have like 5 naked Midians running around. That's pretty much what Dark Order's become. And not the faction I wanted it to be. It did have hype. I love the Join the Dark Order vignettes. I love those weird Scientology style videos they had coming out. I love the Queen Slayer going in there. I think she should have been the Exalted One. Not that Brody Lee. Not that he should not have been, but she should have replaced him after his unfortunate demise. And they should have just been evil as all hell. They should have just been just drop the purple. I can't take purple seriously as a heel color. That's kind of why I'm not like S and the D of Judgment Day right now, because like you can't have colors and then be like super evil, if that makes any sense. Like House of Black's doing it right, but you just can't be like, oh, we're evil, but we also like fashion. So that's kind of what Dark Order is to me right now. It's like the Hot Topic bad guys.
Okay.
As far as what happened with the Kenny post promo, I didn't see that part. I don't know who he alluded to, and I can't wait to hear what De Niro thinks. If he can drop some hints or tell me what Kenny said, I can maybe guess. But yeah, it's good. Wheeler does not suck as a wrestler. I do not mind him. He is fantastic. He gets better every day, but like, I don't like looking at him. Look at him. Weird little.
What's
shit.
wrong with Wheeler Yuta, man?
I don't know, man. Just weird.
Really gets no love.
It's like I never understood why Vince hated Christian, but now I do.
That face.
Well, yeah, go ahead, break it down.
Tell me about this Kenny promo, because I know he likes to get on the mic after TV goes off air and kind of like talk from the heart. So,
well, yeah, I mean, he basically was just talking about how when he took a couple weeks off after Double or Nothing, he didn't go back home. He didn't go to Canada. He went to Japan for a friend that's really near and dear to his heart, and someone who's going to
Are we
stand.
getting the Golden Lovers? Is it Golden Lovers?
It's alluding to the Golden Lovers and Kota Ibushi coming in. So
Cool.
There you go.
I'm with that 100%. So Kota Ibushi looks like he could be the 5th member on the elite team for Blood and Guts. Now, I think that they're trying to get you to think that Chris Jericho will be the 5th man on the Blackpool Combat Club's side because Don Callis is associated with them. You got Takeshita associated with them. I personally think, it's going to be a guy who is backstage the last couple weeks in AEW. I guess he's, working on contracts and contract negotiations. But I think it's going to be Chris Hero, right? And I'm going to explain why. Chris Hero, who said he's back in professional wrestling. He said he's making his return this year. Was a part of, AEW Collision and has been backstage the last couple weeks. Chris Hero, who, if you want to talk about the original concept of the Blackpool Combat Club, guys who trained with William Regal. Chris Hero's a guy who took his career and went to England to train with William Regal. Chris Hero's a guy who was under William Regal's tutelage for many years. And then he goes to FCW, and Cash Zono was a guy who had a feud with Cash Zono had a feud with William Regal because William Regal chose him as the chosen one of FCW and then the early days of NXT. So if anybody would fit with the Blackpool Combat Club, it would be Chris Hero. Also, you got Claudio in the Blackpool Combat Club, and we know Chris Hero and Claudio, former tag team champions in Ring of Honor with the Kings of Wrestling. So I think it's going to be Chris. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that's the way they go.
Is it you, Chris? Really? You?
No, that'd be crazy.
I love it.
I think it's Chris Kennedy.
That'd be fucking cyberspace return. So it's 5-on-5. The 5. Okay, so everybody we know of on the elite side is Young Bucks, Kenny, Page, not Eddie Kingston.
Kingston's in Japan. He won for the next 3 weeks.
Right, he just won that belt, so he's definitely okay. So he's not. For some reason, I thought he was going to be on the elite side. So that's definitely the hottest thing. Okay, so then on Blackpool side, we have obviously the Blackpool, and not Takeshita.
No, Takeshita's a part of it. Bryan Danielson's injured, so he's not going to be a part of it.
There we go. Okay, that's cool. Makes sense.
So it's Wheeler, Claudio, Mox, and Takeshita.
Cool. All right. What's Bryanson's injury? Is it
in his match with Okada? He broke his forearm.
Oh, how?
Yeah, he's going to be out for
broke his forearm, fractured.
Yeah, they said that the X-ray was disgusting. Let me see if I can pull up the picture of the X-ray.
You will, sir, because I broke my forearm. I had a compound fracture, which is both buttons.
I fell off. You remember those hoverboards? I fell off one of them.
Bro, that sucks. So I was on a weird. They have a new playground at school. It's like a zip line, but it's attached to a metal.
Yeah, it's like a bar.
Yeah. So some fucking bigger kids pushed me off of that and pushed me so hard that when I got to the end of it, I flew off and hit the support beam.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was 9 years old, screaming bloody murder, man. My arm was literally floppity.
It's nasty. I think I can get the X-ray. Hold up.
He broke this side of the arm, right here. He broke this one, Chris. This forearm he broke. So it's not fully. It's like a fracture, but it's broken.
Yeah. Wait, is that it right there? Yeah. No, that's from WWE. He's broken that before. At least that. Not all the same arm.
Well, good thing it wasn't his neck. So there you go. See.
Oh no, that's the one. Oh, so that is okay. See the highlight that says WWE. That made me think that was an older injury.
No, this was Bree just put this up because he was talking about him breaking his arm against. Let me see what the.
Yeah, so
WWE star. See if you click the article.
Right. Yeah. So that X-ray, if you look at it, mine was both of those bones.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but I was also 9, so whatever. That sucks. So he's gonna be out probably 4 to 8 months.
You just got me not thinking that could be fucking Chris Hero now. Jesus.
Well, if you remember, I don't know if you saw the article, right? The first Collision, right? Chris Hero was backstage, and the rumor was he was negotiating for a contract. Then he goes on Twitter and says that he's back in professional wrestling and he's stepping back into the ring because he took a year off. So, I mean, why not? Why not? And he fits with the BCC perfectly. That's a guy who was under the tutelage of of William Regal. He's been in teams and feuded with Claudio, Mox, and Bryan Danielson. He even had a match with Wheeler Yuta. You can even look it up. He had a match with Wheeler Yuta. I think it was AIW or AAW in Chicago when Wheeler Yuta was still Jimmy Yuta. Jimmy Yuta versus Chris.
Jimmy, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that. That's right. Jesus, man. Now you got me thinking now. Maybe that could be Plan C. But who? Because like I said,
BCC can BCC.
BC, exactly. Aha, BCC. I love that. That could be the case. The fact because Kota Ibushi, he's a free agent. He's not with New Japan any longer. He's now a free agent. So right now, Tony Khan is trying to make it happen with bringing this man in, and I know Kenny is trying to make it happen. So Tony Khan, I know you're trying to, and knowing Tony Khan, if he does sign Kota Ibushi,
Let's fucking go.
That way,
Huge signing.
It'll be a huge signing for sure. And Kenny Omega, that's his friend. So that's you're gonna have the Golden Elite pretty much. It'll be all 6 of them there, unless he separates from the Elite and just have Adam Hangman Page and the Bucks them separately, and then having just Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. Who knows? We don't know what direction they're going with that. If that does happen, he could be maybe the guy that could be joining for me, Combat Club, because with Brian out. He could try to use Don Callis will find a way to get this man to be like, no, Kenny doesn't care about you, blah, blah. This could be the case, could have him. But I do like that you mentioned Chris Hero because you mentioned everything, the history with him and Claudio, everything in Ring of Honor, especially. That makes a lot more sense too. I wouldn't mind that either because Chris Hero was their director, and I talked about it 2 weeks ago. We talked about that Chris Hero was a producer backstage and a coach because now Colt Cabana is no longer a coach for Dynamite or Collision. He's now
Colt Cabana just got signed as a full-time producer for Dynamite.
Yeah, that's the only thing he's now is. So he's no longer a coach. So, but I don't know if he's able to be there in person or be by computer. I don't know because of the whole CM Punk thing. But I don't know. It's that's a good question. You know what, man? Now you got me thinking. Now, Jesus, man, this is a good clip to put for sure. I like that.
If it happens, I'm going to blast this clip all over social media. Be like, I called it.
We're all going to become Nostradamus, man. Like just
exactly the Nostradamus trio.
That's what you have for sure. Director, do you feel the same? You, Kota, I know you're. I've
been waiting for Kota to come back to America for a while. The guy can wrestle any way he wants to. We've seen him in CCW doing like backflips out of fireworks onto diesels. We've seen him do technical wrestling. Tag team wrestling with Kenny Omega. The guy can work any style he wants to. He can fly. He's strong, hardcore, and this match is going to be perfect for him. So I would love to see this. I would love to see, the hug when he comes out to Kenny. Like we know that it's going to be romantic. There's no way to put it.
It is going to be romantic, so that's for sure.
He's the guy that the WWE wanted to sign so badly when he was at the Cruiserweight Classic. You guys remember the Cruiserweight Classic? Kota Ibushi was going to be the winner of the whole thing, but WWE couldn't get him, to sign a contract.
They wanted. They did the Kenny thing to him. They wanted like full control over him, and he's like, "How about no?"
Yeah. Well, they didn't want him to be a full-time member. He wanted to travel around and be, the journeyman in wrestling. So,
which is exactly. He's probably one of the best to ever do that.
Yeah,
I agree.
And. Well, yeah, I totally agree. We'll see. We'll find out once we get there. So that's going to be interesting to see how far we're going to get with Kota Ibushi on if he shows up or not. That's the biggest question of all time. Last topic of the night to end the show here on a Saturday night. Of course, later on today you do have, of course, AEW Collision. Of course, we're going to do just overall. We're not going to give everybody's thoughts on this. We got, of course, in the women's Owen Hart's tournament, Athena versus Willow Nightingale. You have also in the men's Owen Hart tournament, Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. You have, of course, in the tag team eliminator, of course, that is Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson, Rock Hard, baby, and of course Jay White versus FTR. So if they win, they get a tag team title shot. And of course, the main event, we already know who's the main event. Of course, I'm not Jim Cornette, but the way how he sings, "Understood," it's CM Punk. Yes, it's CM Punk versus Samoa Joe in the Owen Hart tournament semifinal. That is happening later today on the AEW Collision. And by the way, Collision has been doing okay. The first two ones were doing with viewership. Everything was great. Of course, the last one, they were at 500 according to everything else. Not Seltzer, but there's other people that actually the resources that you're able to find that. The viewership was legit. So 500. So it's kind of like in between. It's getting there. But in the crowd, you could tell the last one was not really much into it. I could tell. If you guys watched it, it wasn't that much. But this is a preview for it. So let's talk about it so we can end the show here. So I'll start out with you, De Niro. What are your thoughts of AEW's Collision's card today? Was tonight because Eastern Standard Time. But what are your thoughts? And who do you got? Joe, Punk. What do you got?
So, Collision, I feel like the last 3 episodes, whether the crowd was into it or not, I feel like Collision is better than Dynamite. Collision is such an awesome show. I'm having so much fun with that show. And this card looks as stacked as any other show that they put out in the last couple weeks. So this is going to be a super great show. Main event, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, is a matchup that I am very excited for. Definitely looking forward to it because, I remember the first time I ever heard the words Ring of Honor was in a PWI magazine talking about the match of the year being CM Punk versus Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going out and actively looking for that matchup, buying the DVDs of the shows. And now there's even a DVD box set. I have a DVD box set of Samoa Joe versus CM Punk where they had all 3 of their matches. It was one of the greatest wrestling trilogies that nobody talks about. So everybody wants to talk about Flair Steamboat. They talk about Kenny Omega, Okada. Go talk about CM Punk, Samoa Joe. The first 2 matches went to an hour draw. The second match, Samoa Joe finally beat CM Punk. Amazing matchups. And they haven't touched since. So this is the first time that they are in the ring together one-on-one since 2004. So I'm very, very excited for this. And I think that they probably won't give it to CM Punk, but just because the theme of CM Punk versus Joe was CM Punk can never topple Samoa Joe, I would love if Samoa Joe beats CM Punk here.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm with you. I hope it does so because like I said, I'm not invested in Punk yet because I had mentioned it the first time when we heard it. I'm not sold. You got him. Punk, I hope you lose. Because if you fucking win, you make it to the finals, it's too fucking obvious it was just for you. Sorry.
Right.
It's too fucking obvious. I hope you lose. And I hope Jay White causes this match for you. Because I want to see you and Jay White feud. I hope he does.
Good point.
I hope it does happen. But man, I am excited though to see FTR, Jay White, and Robinson because I want to see. It's kind of even though we've seen Jay White in 6-mans, 8-mans in New Japan, even in New Japan Strong, I've seen them in tag teams. And personally, I see them live. But this is different. This is FTR. This is a whole different tag team. So this is something I'm invested in seeing how this is going to turn out to be, and it's going to be exciting to see if they win because I'll be like, all right, they actually won. So I'm truly invested to see how this is going to go. Willow, she just recently lost the New Japan Women's Strong Championship to Julia, which, by the way, here at Circle the Bay, we'll have a New Japan show, which will be, I'll bring it up on Monday or Tuesday, so stay tuned for that because I'll be doing my predictions for the G1 Classic, and I'll talk about that, what happened on 4th of July and the event with of course, Eddie Kingston winning the New Japan Strong title, Jon Moxley, versus Desperado, which is a hardcore match. That was insane, so I would really recommend to see it. But yeah, I'm stoked to see this. I can't wait to see it today because besides this, we got UFC 290 to watch as well. So there's going to be a lot of shows for me to for us to watch this Saturday evening. I'll tell you that. But yeah, and Ricky Starks and Power Hobbs. Say Power Hobbs. I think he needs to have it. I don't think we need to see Ricky Starks and if CM Punk wins, it's going to be Ricky Starks and CM Punk in finals. If Joe wins, give me Joe and Hobbs, 2 powerhouses going at it. Why in the hell not? Why give it a Joe? Shit, he's done for a lot for the company. That's just me. I'm just digressing. Director, what are you excited? What are you stoked? Break it down.
Am I excited? Yeah, I like watching pro wrestling. Am I emotionally invested in who wins this? I guess it's not for a belt; it's just for a trophy. Maybe they get a title shot if they win this? Like, is it just for the belt?
That is a good question. I do not.
But I like the way you summed it up. Pretty much, whoever wins tonight is gonna make for that outcome in the finals. You know, if CM wins it, put him against Ricky. If Joe wins it, put him against Hobbs. I don't know if I want to see CM versus Hobbs or Joe versus Ricky. You know, like the better matches are the ones that you would lay out like that. CM can lose and still not be damaged. You know, people are gonna love him for some reason, no matter what happens tonight. So yeah, that is definitely the storyline. And I'm curious, like watching the show when the match starts, how much time is left on TV when that match starts is going to kind of help to dictate how good the match is going to be, because these dudes definitely need pay-per-view minutes to put on their best performance. And if this shit starts 20 minutes before the hour, then I'm just going to be like, oh, fuck, we're getting a 3-star match.
I knew it.
No, this match has to start with a 1 hour time limit at the hour, and then we're going to get the best possible outcome of this match. Otherwise, it will not be the best version of, you know, the storied history these guys have together in the ring. They've wrestled how many times? Twice, and they're 1-1, or
No, Joe and Punk?
Yeah,
they wrestled like 6 or 7 times, 3 in Ring of Honor, and Smojo beat him every single time.
Okay, so yeah.
Well, the first two in the trilogy were 1 hour draws. So they had an hour draw. They met again, had another hour draw, and then the next matchup was no time limit, and Joe won.
So Joe's technically one in 2 no contests.
Yeah, but since Joe was the champion at the time, he just retained the title.
Yeah. Can CM finally get that one win back? Maybe. I'd be fucking surprised if he can even get him up for the go to sleep. We'll see. We'll have to watch. Show starts in like 8 hours, so.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see how that shit turns out to be. For me, I'm just like, like I said, I just don't want Punk to damn win it, man. I just don't. I don't want it. No.
I want to see Punk to win everything.
Unless Tony Khan fucking promised him the whole world, like, yeah, I'm gonna give you the whole world. Yeah, we're gonna win this tournament. You're gonna do it for Owen Hart. Okay, this is, and I'm gonna no stop this shit if it does happen. If Punk wins this tournament, don't be surprised to see Bret Hart introducing the fucking trophy, because him and Bret Hart, of course, they had a little thing, and don't be surprised that you're gonna see Bret Hart introducing it. Him and Martha Hart, which I don't think is gonna happen because him and Martha don't get along.
They don't get along, yeah.
Yeah, they don't get along, which that's something that you want to look for that yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't give you details of that. That's a long story. But if let's say if Martha doesn't show up, which she should, because obviously, of course, it's her husband. So she has rights for it, and plus she owns every right for it. Unless she gives permission to Bret to show up, or unless Bret sends a video, maybe so. So I mean, that could happen. That could be the case, but who knows? Who knows? It could be all in, yeah, but we'll see. I'm excited to see it. I want to see where this goes, and let's see how the crowd get invested.
Or does it go to another draw, and then they're both out of the tournament?
Oh,
then that would technically mean that Ricky and Powerhouse was the finals then.
Yeah. Fuck it. That would be hilarious.
So if the final, it would be funny because the finals would probably be on before the semifinal matchup that cancels out that matchup. That means the matchup before that was the finals.
So let's do it.
AEW already makes things very confusing, so might as well.
Yeah,
right?
that sounds like something they would do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Magic Excalibur explaining that.
God, I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath thinking about it.
Oh man. Well, thank you very much for tuning in on this fantastic Saturday afternoon and Saturday morning. So afternoon for us. It's 3:00 already, 3:27 and Eastern Standard Time for all of you guys who listen. Don't forget, you see right there below us, you can follow us on social media platforms. Let me remove this so you can see directors. And there you see the Holy Fuck Kennedy. You can follow him there. That's where you can follow him. Right there is where you can follow the director. Follow him. And follow, of course, Mike De Niro, everybody, Wrestling DeLorean Pod. Listen to it on iHeartRadio. Do not forget. And also don't forget to follow also as well FDS, Fate Destroyed. check that out. The description will be right below. Because any upcoming events for Fake Destroyed Director coming up?
Yeah, we're playing Summit Fest in Ohio, September 18th, September 8th, and open up for Attila at 1720, October 8th also. So a month later after that, 2 months, something like that. Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm looking forward. I am looking forward. And yes, don't forget to follow us as well. Right below, the link tree below, Circle Debate, make sure. And we'll be back next week. For sure, shows coming here for COD because we're going to have the New Japan show. It's going to be back. I'll be talking, of course, New Japan. Of course, we're going to do a recap for UFC 290. And, of course, we're going to have episode 157, of course, recapping everything what happened to Dynamite. And we're bringing back – we need to bring it back because we haven't brought it back. And we're going to do it just for you guys because it's been demanding, because they've been asking for it. And we're going to bring it back. They've been asking
Give me
for
what I want.
Give me what you want, and we'll do it. And we're gonna do it differently. It's gonna be top fives are coming back.
Oh shit!
We're top fives. We're bringing that back again because people have been asking, "What happened to the top five? What happened?" Well, I mean, we took a little break of it. You know, we have so much to do, but now we got a lot more coming for you guys.
We don't have lives. We watch all the content. Sorry, faction.
Shout out to the chat, everybody too as well. Shout out to Faction Cash, shout out to Clark, shout out to Brian Cook, Dom, everybody who actually was on. And Noah, thank you so much for subscribing. Appreciate you very much. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe below. Shout out to everybody, of course, to the audio platforms for listening to us. Thank you so much. Do not forget to, if you're listening to audio platform, listen to Fake Destroyed. They're on Spotify as well.
Oh, yeah,
and also everywhere. And also you can find everywhere Mr. DeLorean himself. Of course, he's a Nostradamus number 2 because these two guys are Mike De Niro listed at iHeartRadio. Make sure you do that. But man, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all for tuning in and for watching us here today. And we'll see you guys on the next one. But before we go, don't forget that here at Circle Debate, Fake Destroyed versus the DeLorean podcast, all of us, we don't just only just rock hard with the music like this man, like this man, the director, the director, Mr. Nostradamus, and not only just also giving, the Lords of Gotham. You can't not only just taking us back in time with everything happening for WWE, Attitude Era, ECW especially, and the current professional wrestling on iHeartRadio Wrestling DeLorean. We don't do iHeart, Spotify, music, podcasting, and music. We fucking make history. Peace.
Must bid you adieu, a goodbye, mwah, and good night. Oh my God, it's so great. Bang! Yes!